Good morning, everyone. We are delighted to have you here today. An exciting, jam-packed schedule from now until about 4:30 this afternoon. My name is Jack Marsh. I'm one of the vice presidents here at the Freedom Forum and the Freedom Forum's Diversity Institute. And it is an absolute pleasure for us here at the Freedom Forum Diversity Institute to be partnering with the Online News Association for this one-day workshop. The idea for this workshop came from a gathering of Jack Lale from Knoxville and Val Hepner from here at the Diversity Institute. We were gathered at APME, I think it was last September, and maybe it was divine inspiration, but apparently we knew, but we really didn't know when the iPad was going to be introduced, and we said, why don't we have an all-day workshop about mobile applications and make sure we time it when there's some big news breaking. And so it has worked out great. And some of the presenters you're going to hear from today are going to give you some real insight into the iPad and to other mobile applications that have been developed since that meeting last fall. But Jack, would you just stand? Everybody know Jack Lale? Jack is Director of News Innovation at the Knoxville News Sentinel, and we've partnered with Jack now for 2 years on these workshops, and Jack's put a lot of work into organizing this, and it's just a pleasure working with Jack, and we thank him for all he's done to make this day a successful one, which we know it will be. And in the back of the room, so come on down, Val, so everybody can see you. This is Val Hepner. Val Hepner is Manager of Multimedia Education here at the Freedom Forum Diversity Institute, and she leads all the instruction and training programs that we conduct here. We want to thank our sponsors for today, certainly the Online News Association, which blesses this as a regional workshop. The Cell Journalists, which is a Nashville-based photo and video vendor, and the Scripps Howard Foundation. So we appreciate their financial support. Some of you may not be familiar with the Freedom Forum and with the Freedom Forum Diversity Institute, so let me just give you a little background. The Freedom Forum is a nonpartisan foundation based in Washington, D.C., with centers here on the Vanderbilt University campus and also at the campus of the University of South Dakota in Vermillion, South Dakota. We really have three priorities as an organization. The museum, and we hope that some of you have been to the museum or that you're planning a trip to the museum. If you need some inspiration, and we all need inspiration, please consider a trip to the museum in Washington, D.C. The new museum, as we call it, opened just 2 years ago on Pennsylvania Avenue, practically in the shadow of the United States Capitol. It's at the corner of 6th and Pennsylvania. It is an extraordinary place. It is many things. It is the world's most interactive museum. I think it's also perhaps the greatest history museum in the country. And it is, as we like to say, unlike any other museum you have ever visited. Our second priority is the First Amendment. We take on an educational role when it comes to the First Amendment. We don't lobby, we don't litigate, but we are trying to give the public in particular a much better appreciation for all 5 freedoms of the First Amendment. Our First Amendment work is all led by Gene Policinski. Gene, would you just come down a little bit closer so everybody can see who you are? Gene is the Vice President of the Freedom Forum, and he also Executive Director of our First Amendment Center. And Gene has programs here in Nashville and also at the museum. And our third priority is newsroom diversity. We believe that no news organization can properly serve its community, whether it's a national community, a regional community, or a local community. No news organization can serve its community unless the makeup of its employees, the makeup of its newsroom, reflects the makeup of its community. So we run the largest academic, scholarship, and internship programs for journalists of color in the United States. And we do most of that training right here before those students go on to internships in newsrooms all across the United States. We think this is the most exciting time for journalism. Journalism is not dead by any means. The platforms are changing and evolving, but this is a tremendous time for opportunity. Certainly the industry is struggling with a business model, but journalism is still alive and well, and we are happy to support that. The other thing that we introduced here 2 years ago, we offer fee-based training for journalism professionals and educators in multimedia. And we actually have several folks in this room who have gone through that training. That may be of interest to some of you, and we would welcome you at one of our, we call them boot camps, not because we have push-ups or forced marches, but because we start early in the morning and go late into the evening. We do those here. They last for 5 days, and over the course of 5 days, you'll be introduced to audio gathering and editing, also to video storytelling and editing. And after 5 days, you actually can be proficient on Final Cut. It is transforming for so many of the people who come here. Our largest audience has actually been journalism educators. We thought that when we started offering these, that the professionals would pour in. We have had some professional involvement, but it's primarily journalism educators who really value the training and feel that they can now relate to their students in ways that they could not before. You know, Mark Dolan here from University of Mississippi, Pam Johnson from Western Kentucky, two of our star students, and then we have several others in the room. If that's of interest to you, our next multimedia boot camp is in August. We had flyers available at the registration desk, and I have others. So if you have any questions about that, see me or see Val Hepner anytime today. We would love to have you part of that program. In the spring of 1949, that's 61 years ago, a very young John Seigenthaler walked into the room of the newsroom of the Tennessean and began a journalism career that stretched from then until today. John Seigenthaler rose through the ranks at the Tennessean, eventually became both the editor and the publisher, a great journalist, and also took 2 years out to join the administration, the Kennedy administration in the early 1960s. Was the top aide to then Attorney General Robert Kennedy during the height of the civil rights crisis. And then John, after that, returned to the Tennessean. He went on to become the founding editorial director of USA Today, the president of ASNE, and as you all know, has earned great distinction in the journalism field throughout his lifetime. We were fortunate at the Freedom Forum that when John retired from the Tennessean and retired from the Gannett Company, that he joined us and founded the First Amendment Center. It is really John Seigenthaler's urging that the Freedom Forum took up the cause of the First Amendment. The building where you're in now is named for John Seigenthaler, and we are delighted that John could be with us this morning to offer a word of welcome.
Well, thanks, Jack. Thank you so much, and thank all of you for coming. I welcome the opportunity to welcome you.